I'll be testifying in court, and so we don't want to do that. Now with the hook switch depressed, you'll see this connection opens, this closes, and this closes. Now, the phone is hung up. No audio should pass over the phone lines. Now, if a mischief maker takes a little hairspray or nail polish and puts it on the appropriate contact, the phone will pass audio all the time. If somebody takes a capacitor, a little 1/100th of a cent capacitor, and hooks it up to the hook switch, which takes a couple of seconds to do, the phone will pass audio all the time. On hook, off hook, doesn't matter, it passes audio all the time. The spy then goes down the street, he hooks up his recording device, he listens to room audio, and he's happy as a clam. Trademark cardinal rule: convenience and privacy are inversely proportional. Convenience and privacy are inversely proportional. If it's the more secure it is, the less convenient it's going to be. It has to be that way because the spy is looking for the mistakes that you're making. If he sees that you always take the easy path, he's going to go, he's making my job easier. If you guys have smokers who work in your facility, find out where they smoke. Go where they smoke. Have they put duct tape on the doors? Do those doors open at 3 o'clock in the morning? It's one of the things I do when I go out to defense facilities. I always drive around the outside of the building to see where the butt can is, because I know that's the door I can come in at 3 o'clock in the morning, because there's probably duct tape on it. Or I'll go stand outside. I'm a non-smoker, but I'll go outside with a pack of cigarettes and hand out butts to everybody. And then when everybody goes inside, I'll just go right inside with them. I'll tailgate them right back into the smoker's door. Smokers are very sociable creatures. If you have any questions, that's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much.
When you're using the Fluke with your TDR demonstration there, what were you using for generating the tone?
A 555 oscillator that's free running that costs about 85 cents.
No, I didn't know if the Fluke actually had the capability for tone generation.
No, it's cheaper to build your own. Yes.
And what Fluke model was that?
For what?
The nice scope you were showing?
Oh, the nice scope is the 199C. I would not recommend getting it with a hard side carrying case. It's a waste of money, and most people throw them away. I've offended the gods. Oh, the 199C is a 2-trace oscilloscope. It is a 2.5 gig bandwidth, which a very high sampling rate, and it can do a spectrum analyzer up to 1 gig of bandwidth. So yeah, it replaced the 198 and the 197 and so on. It's the current state-of-the-art Fluke technology. For $2,500, $3,000, it's a real godsend. The voltmeter, and it's about a year-old model. The voltmeter is the new Fluke 289. And you can get these from any place that sells, like Jensen, Contact East, Network Tools, any places that sell equipment. And I would recommend get a voltmeter, get a couple of banjos, get an oscilloscope, and if you don't have a pulse generator, get a Fluke Networks TS100, which will, I can make a pulse generator that'll cost me less than $2 out of a 555, a couple of capacitors, and a 2N 3904. If I want to do a 2-lead one, it might cost me $15. But the Fluke TS100 is a very inexpensive pulse generator, and it will give you the signal so that you can look at the pulse. You can look at the pulse with the oscilloscope, and it'll shoot something 30,000 feet long.
When you're shooting that, wouldn't that alert the spy that you're maybe trying to do something?
Most spies aren't smart enough to pick up on it.
If they're designed their taps to actually look for that kind of signal detection stuff?
If your taps are designed to look for it, yes. But your average private investigator who bought his bug for $10,000 from Policano, allegedly, he's not going to pick it up. And by the time he does pick up that you're shooting it with a TDR, you're long gone. He's caught before he figures out that you're shooting it with a TDR. And you don't want to just shoot when you're looking for bugs. You want to be shooting all the time. So if you have 1,000 cables in the company, let's see, there's 52 weeks in a year. We've got 1,000 cables in the company, 1,000 divided by 52. We take a random number generator, and it tells me what cables I need to randomly check. And every year, every single wire in your company should be shot with a TDR and an oscilloscope or a TDR just to see what we got out there. And just, you know, it's 258 feet and blah, 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 blah. And nothing was really noticed or crap, we've got extra wires here. Where'd these wires come from in the last month and a half? And what you do is you assign a risk to each office within the company. So the CEO, the CFO, the CLO, the C-suiters, the mahogany row guys, they're at higher risk than the dudes sitting in personnel. So you weight who gets serviced more often based on the risk the risk their office poses to the company. So the CEO's office, you may go in there once a month, pop the ceiling tiles, get up there, make sure the ceiling tiles are aligned properly. For example, when we came into this room, how many people in here noticed that both of our exit signs are dead and the one back there has one light burned out? Okay? You have to notice stuff like that. We've got one bulb out there. By law, we have to have two. We've got two out. By law, we have to have two. And over here, if you notice, a lot of the ceiling tiles in here don't match. Some of these ceiling tiles look like Swiss cheese. I mean, they've been moved and duct taped. A couple of them have actually been duct taped together. And I can tell where they've been cracked and duct taped. And they're all chafed and banged and gnarled up and nasty and everything else. When you go into somebody's office to do a visual inspection, not a bug sweep, but just a visual inspection from a technical security perspective, you go in and you look at the ceiling tiles and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and you go to the storeroom, you get 15 ceiling tiles, you come out, you line them up, you make sure you rotate them the right way, and then you take a yellow highlighter and you mark the corner of the ones that you replace so that you can come in with a black light, shine a black light at the ceiling, and it tells you if anybody's lifted your ceiling tiles and rotated them. The other thing you do is you take KY jelly and you take fluorescent fingerprint powder and you mix the two of them together and you lift the ceiling tile up and you paste the top of the rails where the ceiling tile comes in contact with the rails. So if somebody comes in and they lift the ceiling tile and they move it, they're spreading that fluorescing powder and the gel across the ceiling tile. Once a week you come in, okay boss, everything's fine. A couple weeks later you come in, shit, somebody's been in the ceiling. You take your ladder, you put it right there, you go up in the ceiling, you go, my, this is not supposed to be up here. This looks like a video camera. Okay? Yes?
Jim, do you ever run into a situation where you find devices that were lawfully placed?
Yes.
And then what, as a contractor, what position are you in there?
The position is you show me a copy of the court order that authorized you to put it in, and if you can't show it to me, I assume that you're a crooked law enforcement person, then I will go to the district attorney and complain that you're planting bugs without a warrant. And the policy, the way that my company handles it, if you work for the FBI and you come in and you say, we have a bug in so-and-so's office, you know, they'll come visit me while I'm unloading the equipment or something, we have a bug here. We have an insurance policy that says if we get a protective order from a sitting judge, our insurance company will pay us what we would have made on the job. We refund the money to the client and we go, we're sorry, we can't do the sweep for you, here's your refund, and we'll load all of our stuff back up on the truck, but there has to be a protective order in place. If a judge won't issue the protective order, we assume it's an illegally installed device, and man, it's off to the races. I don't have a problem putting a cop in jail or hunting the Fed down. This just doesn't bother me in the slightest. I mean, there's people in Washington, D.C. they've like had strokes because of stuff that I found. I don't care. My job is to find the bugs. If it's there lawfully, I'm not going to interfere with it, but it's not my responsibility to determine if it's there lawfully or not. And if the judge, and most people in law enforcement understand this position, if it's there lawfully, I'll go before the judge will issue a protective order, which is I keep my mouth shut, the customer gets their money back, because I'm not going to accept their money and then lie to them, okay? Customer gets their money back. We're not going to tell them why they're getting a refund. We're sorry, we have an equipment problem. Well, the problem is I won't unload my truck. So we actually have a policy, a formal policy as to how to do that. We actually have insurance to cover that. I have been under protective orders before. If I accept the customer's money and we tell them there's no bug present, there's no bug present. If a customer gives me money and I give it back to him, he better be talking to his attorney.
Any other questions?
If there's no other questions, thank you very much for having me. And I'm sorry about running 15 minutes over.